this is kind of piggybacking off of the last message, last reading, last story time, whatever you want to call it. But we have this recurring element of guys being attracted or interested or, whatever else, emotionally involved in the intensity and passion. Because let's be real, that's what it is. It's almost like this electric magnetism. And they just can't look away. And you're totally absorbed. And then they decide that they can't go there, won't go there, don't want to. But a lot of this comes from defensiveness and a place of confusion. At the very least, we don't need to understand their motivations, but we do need to understand that a lot of these situations were full of confusing energy for the other person. Your energy is potent. Your energy is magnetic. It's sensual. It's vibrant. It's alluring. And I think even people that don't have any kind of sexual confusion find themselves drawn to you. That's always been the case, right? And so you wind up with people in your life who are like, it's giving that clip. I'm not gay, but if he asked me to suck his dick, I would. And then the dude's like, I can't tell if you're joking. And he's like, I'm not joking. That's the energy this gives, because you're just that kind of person. Without acting effeminate, you're in touch with your sensuality, with your feminine energy. And masculine energies find that appealing, alluring. But you also have this side of you that you flip out once they're already involved, where you are the dominant energy. Your masculine comes out in a sensual way, and that reversal of fortune can be very attractive too. Especially to men who have never really done that much experimenting. To have the tables turned and be the object of desire and be the one taking the orders and not necessarily in charge in the situation can be very appealing. Especially when they feel like they don't have to compromise their masculinity in the process. And so I personally find myself in a lot of situations where people have this confusion because they're getting this kind of energy that they've never received before, and they're enjoying it. They like it, they're attracted, they're involved. But then they're not in the mental or emotional space where they are looking at relationships, because that's not even something they'd considered before. For example, I think Gym Crush isn't looking for a relationship at all. Men or women. I think there's some kind of avoidance going on there. And I think most of these masculines have been some kind of avoidance, some kind of commitment avoidant. But they get addicted to the energy. They get addicted to the attention, to the feeling of being involved in something like that, so passionate and energetic, spicy in a way, that they haven't experienced. And then you want clarity, you want emotion, you want commitment. And these are all things that they weren't ready to give a woman, much less things that they'd be prepared to give to you. And so they wind up in this mixture of confusion, fear, and passionate energy. And then when you pull away, all of that energetic intensity turns to the negative, right? I think Spirit's calling us to understand the minds of the people that we've been dealing with. This goes back to that energy of the wasps and the mantis. Compassion for those who have gone against you. And this might go outside of this physical, sexual, emotional relationship context. But the fact is, it's your energy. Because you're not the fittest person in the room. You're not the smartest even. You're not the most skilled verbally. But you do have a quality. This ineffable quality that leads them to you, that draws them in, that gets them addicted, and then you stop. And they're in an emotional place where they don't even want to admit that they have feelings about that. And this is being brought to our attention so that we don't repeat this cycle. Because if I'm not wrong, and this is an if, because I think part of this cycle is also the fact that I was so stubbornly clinging to that concept with every single one of those masculines. I was like, I'm not wrong, you know? I knew I wasn't wrong. And this part of me wanted to prove that to myself, to them, to others. And I just heard my sister, when I first moved here, and she was learning about what I do and my cards and channeling and stuff like that. She was like, as long as you can accept that you're wrong sometimes, you know? I think I had one moment where I told her how she felt. And even though I still don't think I was totally wrong, she wanted me to understand that I could be misinterpreting things. And I think that's true. And I think it's important that I integrate that now. It is possible that I'm wrong. It is possible that I misread him. And the number of times that I've been right in the past doesn't matter. The number of situations where this played out over and over again because I thought I was right doesn't matter. But Spirit also didn't guide us to let this go. They didn't guide us to hold on to it either. They said, wait and see. Wheel of Fortune, Page of Swords, Knight of Pentacles, Two of Cups. We will see how things play out. But if this is one of those situations where I think I'm right, and the energy is confusing for the other person, then we have to have empathy for that, and we have to not be self-centered in our reactions. We have to be focused on what we are doing and how that is affecting them, because not everybody has experienced this kind of energy before. Your energy is potent and unique, and requires responsibility. You don't quite know the effect that you have on people, and even if you do, you haven't experienced it the way that others experience you. So we're landing on either I'm wrong or he's going through more mentally than we are prepared to understand, and that has to be okay. But either